This is a Joseph Rowley video, and I'm going to be talking about Paysage D'Hiver today. Paysage D'Hiver is one of my all-time favorite projects, music projects, originally formed in 1997. Paysage D'Hiver is an ambient black metal band from Switzerland, and is masterminded by one Tobias Mockel. Also known under a pseudonym of Winter, Paysage D'Hiver translates from French into winter landscape. Paysage D'Hiver is mostly known for their raw production and atmosphere inspired by many classic black metal releases from the 90s. Today I'm going to be ranking all the demos, EPs, and full-length albums from that Winter put out. There are some rules and exceptions, however. I will be including Schnee, like the Schnee compilation, because it's long enough. It's mastered to be a cohesive kind of listening experience. So I'm gonna be including Schnee. I won't be including any of the singles. So obviously the singles for the full length, obviously, but that also means some of the re-released older songs or songs off of various artist compilations aren't gonna be in either. Just because I didn't really know how to rank them against the other stuff, and nor did I have a lot to say about them. They're pretty good. I like the I can't quite remember the name of it, but the one where the wind's going the whole time. If the wind wasn't going the whole time, it'd be really cool, because there's a lot of really good riffs on that one. But there's my thoughts on those. They won't be included in this video, and also the big kind of thing is all or most of the titles are in German, and English is my only language, so I might mispronounce some things. Feel free to yell at me in the comments. Also, all the albums are, according to Winter, are intertwined in a story, but they're not in order, and I couldn't find a cohesive explanation of the order or real timeline of the story, but I might just piece it together for a video later. It doesn't really matter anyway, because I'm ranking purely based on the music anyways. I don't speak German, so I can't really understand the lyrics, but anyway, with that all out of the way, I should say, let's get on with the ranking. Coming up first, or rather last on this list, is going to have to be the second full-length album from 2021, Geister, which translates to Ghosts. I like everything Paysage D'Hiver has put out, except for this album. This album is just not good at all. I can definitely, it is the gap between this album and the next release on the list is pretty big. The production bugs me. It's it's cleaner the newer kind of stuff he's been putting out, but it's muddy. It just sounds muddy and muffled, and not in a good raw way like some of the older stuff, in just a weird why does it sound like that way? I don't like it. I've listened to it a couple times to see if it clicked. Never clicked. The album it's not good. I don't think I'll be visiting it really anytime soon again. 2 out of 10. Next up on the list is going to have to be the fourth demo, Kerker, which came out in 99. Kerker translates to dungeon, and I do like it a lot more than Geister, and listen to it a bit more. It's still not great compared to the stuff I'm going to be talking about. And anyone who's familiar with this demo will know exactly what my issue is. It's the production. It was an interesting idea, I guess, because it's supposed to be dungeon themed. So it sounds like you are trapped, being tortured in the dungeon, and the music is coming from outside of the castle, because all you can hear is just ambient wind and drone kind of sounds, and it's just not great. I actually didn't even, the first time I listened to it, I didn't even know it was like I thought it was an ambient like drone album the first time. But no, there are riffs and guitars, and honestly, like when I really sat with some good headphones and listened to it, it's like they sounded really cool. It's just, why couldn't they have been so like more in front? I don't get it. And it'd be one thing, to have it like, it's an interesting idea that Winter kind of plays with a bit, especially later on, but to have like the guitars in the back and the atmospheric kind of elements in the front, but it just doesn't work here because the drony atmospheric bits aren't even that great. It's just like kind of monotonous and not in a cool way, like for it to be a sit down listen 40 something minute experience. It's just a bit of a letdown because the little bits of guitar and stuff you can hear sound really cool. But no, Kerker just ends up kind of being a bit of wasted potential, and it's not great. 4 out of 10. The next one on our list is going to be Einsamkeit, which is kind of weird to rank compared to the other ones, mostly just because it's a purely atmospheric kind of drone demo compared to Kerker that does have those guitar bits. The atmospheric elements are the mainstay. Einsamkeit translates to loneliness and was the 9th demo, so it came out quite a bit into Paysage D'Hiver's well-established career at this point. And it was kind of like a weird, it's just a weird demo. Like it's not like Festung, which was the kind of winter synth demo that came out early on, and then I already mentioned how it's different from Kerker. It's like more like space-like. Like it doesn't even really give a very wintry vibe compared to what we're used to anyway, which isn't a bad thing. It's strange, but it's cool to see. And when you are in the right mood, it really kind of works and hits, but that mood kind of doesn't come very often. It's just a pretty flat ambient album. There's a lot of ambient albums I prefer and I'm in the mood for a lot more often, and the songs are kind of just like the same thing. The last song has like these kind of whispered vocals that are cool, but they're kind of just like, they don't add much to it. Like I feel like you could have taken them away from the song and I wouldn't have missed out. I would have been like, oh man, this should have been here. It's not my favorite. It has its moments, but those moments don't come very often. It's gonna be a 4.5. Up next we have Traum, which is the only release categorized as an EP, or at least according to the Metal Archives. Traum translates to In the Dream and came out in 2020, a little after Wald. Traum is a reimagining of 2 songs off of Wald, and it focuses more on the ambient elements, so again, kind of like Kerker. Which, again, sounds like a really cool idea. Like, especially on Wald, there's a lot of really cool background bits and kind of like synthy leads and things like that happening, so it's, to have all that in the forefront is a really cool premise, but it again kind of falls flat. Like the songs aren't bad, like it's not even that they're bad, it's just I'd rather listen to Wald. Like it's only 2 songs, which is kind of like, yeah, when I listen to Paysage D'Hiver, I want to sit down and have a long, cohesive experience, and you don't really get that with just 2 songs. Also, I'm a little like salty because the record is a 10-inch. I don't really like those very much. They kind of look silly on the shelf, and not a fan. But I think if there were more tracks, like maybe 5 or 6, and he really pushed the envelope on the kind of synthy lead bits, and I think it could have been a really interesting kind of side thing, but I don't really come back to it very often. It's kind of just whatever. It's a 5 out of 10. Next one might people might disagree with me, but I'm going to be putting in the next spot Steineche, which translates to the Holm Oak, and it was actually the first demo put out in '98, which supposedly is the beginning of the journey of the Wanderer. And it definitely, you can tell it's a debut by listening to it. Winter's kind of trying to find his sound, and for a debut, like black metal album, or demo rather, it does deliver pretty good. It's by far like the evilest kind of sounding release in the discography, which is definitely really interesting and enticing. Like obviously Paysage D'Hiver is known for the kind of atmospheric bits, but to have that still kind of like evil classic black metal sound is kind of really interesting to see, which is nice. But I mean, that doesn't mean it's without its flaws, and I think the biggest flaws with a lot of these early demos is just the songs are kind of loose and not in a good way. Like things kind of just start and stop. Like there's no real like progression of the song. It's just like, it almost feels like there are a bunch of small songs jammed into like these long 20-minute tracks, and I don't really see the point in that. Like that's kind of just abrupt and a bit of a strange kind of decision. And this isn't going to be the only time I bring this up for, again, these first few demos. Winter kind of took a while to really get his footing with songwriting. But the other issue I had that kind of bogs this one down is the vocals. When I was actually listening to it and taking notes for the script, I was really into them. Like I thought they were really cool, really different, that you don't really hear again. And then after a while, it kind of got tiring. Like it's just an uncomfortable kind of sound. I don't know. I wasn't into it after a while. But I mean, overall, like Steineche it's a good debut. But like even the stuff that comes like immediately after it, kind of just, in my opinion, kind of make it obsolete. And I think it'd be interesting to see if Winter kind of goes back and maybe like reimagines it, kind of like in Traum almost. Whether it's, making it more of a atmosphere focused album, or even just tweaking the songs themselves, would be really interesting to hear. But I don't know, it's a really interesting kind of timepiece, but I don't enjoy it as much as the stuff we're going to talk about later. This is a 6 out of 10 for me. At the number 10 spot, we have Nacht, which translates to night, and was released in 2004, and it would be the last black metal demo for almost 10 years for Paysage D'Hiver until Geister came out, and then Einsamkeit came out in between those. But I'm putting Nacht here purely just because it's not very memorable. Like it's like I can remember the one, like it's higher than the other ones because it's like it's not bad. Like it doesn't do anything wrong. But like even the ones below it, I can remember them a lot more than, not even right now. I'm trying to remember what it sounds like, and I'm kind of drawing a blank. Like it doesn't do anything wrong to the point where I can say like, yeah, it's this low because it's this and that. It's just kind of, it just is. It's kind of a shame because there's another one where Winter kind of dropped the more wintry vibes and just went purely for darkness and nighttime, and just like we could have had a really dark, like almost evil sounding record like Steineche, but we just it's not very much. It's only 4 tracks if I remember correctly. 2 of them are like just wind tracks, which is fine, but the actual like metal tracks aren't that interesting, and I don't really remember them, and it's just I don't know, it's just dry and uninspired. Again, it's not like outrageously terrible, but it just is. I don't know, it just exists. I might listen to it sometimes, try and remember what it sounds like. Maybe I'm missing something, but I think a lot of people would agree with me that it's pretty forgettable. This is a 6.5 out of 10. Now we're kind of hitting the point where it's the stuff I actually do really like and go back to a bit. So I don't really have a whole lot of negativity going on from this point, but starting us off, I guess, on this good run is going to be Festung, which is one of the 3 that came out in 98. He kind of just put all 3 out at once. Apparently, I was actually doing some research, looking at interviews and stuff, and he was apparently holding on to them for quite a while and just eventually just dropped all of them, which is kind of cool because the 3 that were dropped were all kind of distinct and different, and Festung was one of them, and it's just a pure dungeon synth, or rather a winter synth like tape, which is really cool. Like, it's the only thing kind of like it in the whole discography. Like, there's, you know, sections on songs or even like some of the releases, but this is the only full-on pure dungeon synth, winter synth kind of release. And I really like it. Like, the like synths sound really good. Like, they sound very cozy, and I don't want to say warm because, you know, they all sound cold. That's the point. But it's still very cozy. It's kind of like I'm sitting in an igloo and I got a hot chocolate in my hands and it's yummy. I'm cold, but I'm warm on the inside, and that's the kind of feeling I get when I listen to Festung. And although I will say the first half is a lot stronger than the second half, and like it's good through, but I think I remember more about the first half and kind of I think it has more to say. But regardless, though, Festung is a nice treat to listen to when I'm in the mood for some winter synth, and I do like that it is there to kind of shake things up. It's a solid 7 out of 10. To wrap up the first kind of 398 demos is Schattengang. And despite it being lower on the list, I actually do kind of go back and listen to it quite a bit, just because it's a really interesting, unique sound. Like, kind of like Steineche that you don't really get later, like a lot of that kind of evil riffing and stuff, but it feels more polished. Like, the vocals are better, the production's a little better, you know, it just kind of feels a little more competent. But it also, again, though, has that same problem that Steineche has, where it's just kind of like ideas jumbled together into 20-minute tracks, and it's kind of just, you listen to it for 4 minutes, and then you get like a little brief like wolf sound, almost interlude, and then it feels like a whole different song started. You check it, and it's you're 8 minutes into the 20-minute track. So it's kind of like, again, that kind of jagged start stop style of songwriting that I'm not super into. But I will say the riffing is some of the coolest in the discography. Like, so some of it sounds like kind of Emperor's early stuff, like Wrath of the Tyrant and self-titled era. And I think honestly my highlight is the ambient track. It's got this weird like sci-fi kind of like alien noise to it, and it's like I don't even know how to describe it. You never hear anything like it on any of the stuff after it. Like, yeah. Schattengang is a great demo. It's got a lot of problems, like with the songwriting. It's kind of awkward to listen to, but I do really like it. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. Next up is actually the newest release, Berge, which is translates to the mountains for those curious, and it's the 3rd studio album and supposedly the last, according to Bandcamp. I don't really know if it means just from a story perspective or like that's it, Paysage D'Hiver is done, but hope not. But The first thing I immediately noticed, even when the singles started to roll out, is that Die Berge sounds a lot like Dark Space, which obviously Winter is a member of Dark Space, and Dark Space is fucking awesome. But I think it's kind of cool to bring some of those sounds to Paysage D'Hiver, because it's like I always liked Dark Space purely because it's not just Paysage D'Hiver but about space. Like they do a lot of interesting stuff while still having that sound that I'm really into, and to see that kind of brought over is really cool. But I don't know, at the end of the day, I don't know, something about the album didn't click for me. Like it is really good, and like I don't know, I think I just might have had my hopes too high and I felt a little disappointed. A lot of people, I was reading a lot of reviews and people are saying it's like top 3 in the whole discography. Like some people are saying it's like better than Involve, some people are saying it's better than like Winterkaelte. I don't think so. Like I don't know if I'm hearing it wrong or missing something, but I feel like a lot of the stuff kind of goes on for too long. Like I kind of get tired of some of the stuff. I would say Ostig is like a super cool song, the second last song. The vocals were really good on the record too. Like it's probably some of the best in the discography. But I don't know. I think it's still really new. It's been out for about a month as of me writing. I think actually exactly a month as of me recording this. But I think I've listened to it enough times to kind of say that it is where I put it. It was a good album, but I was a little disappointed, and I do like a lot of the stuff more than that. It's a 7.5 out of 10 as well. The turn of the century gave us Kristall Isa, which is, or at least from the research I could do, is a direct translation, and I'm probably still saying it wrong, Kristall and Isa. But it kind of feels like a precursor to the stuff we would hear after the 2010s, like with kind of like Geister and Involved and stuff. It's like, I imagine it would probably be pretty jarring after coming almost right after the release of the self-titled, which we will talk about later. But I think the biggest thing to note about this album is its length. It is really short. Like, both in just total track time or total play time and the track times. They're very short. Aside from the last track, they're all like 4 or 5 minute songs, which is cool because you get these really interesting soundscapes in such a short amount of time. And another thing it does that I really like is it's the first release to have like the short kind of ambient segments in between that you kind of hear on like the full length stuff, which I really like those bits because it kind of gives you a bit of a breather. It kind of feels like, a lot of the time it sounds like someone walking through snow or something, and it's not done kind of like the earlier demos. Like, it's done in a way that it gives the listener a breather, but also you still feel connected to the song and the storytelling, or musical storytelling, or literal. But I really enjoy these little bits, and they especially sound good on the later stuff. But Kristall Isa is great, and it's nice to have a shorter one. It's just a solid demo, 8 out of 10. After seeming to vanish into the void, or being busy with Dark Space, Winter returned to putting out black metal demos under Paysage D'Hiver in 2013, and holy shit. Das Tor is a beast of a demo. Translates to the gate, which a lot of people are saying it's a precursor. Like, it kind of fits kind of the gist I got online was that this is before Kerker and after Involved, but I don't, because Diva Stung's supposed to be the last in the story, so I don't know how you go from the dungeon to the mountains. But again, that's kind of a topic for another video. But the riffs on this demo are insane. Like, they're just, I don't even know how to describe them. Like, it's a great kind of segue into the more riff-focused stuff we're gonna get on the full releases after 2020 with Involved onwards. But the riffs here especially are just so good. Like, they're super precise tuned. You can like really process them. They don't sound muddy. The production's great. It's just a fine-tuned demo. I don't really have a lot of fancy stuff to say about it. It's just fantastic. Great return to form for the project. It's gonna be an 8.5 out of 10. This is probably gonna be the most controversial take on the list, and a lot of you are probably gonna turn off after I say this, but I'm gonna put self-titled here. It is definitely one of the like best. Like, I can see why people put it at number 1. Like, it's the top 4 for me are kind of interchangeable, and like I don't get mad when people say this is their number 1. I just think for me personally, I think the first song really kind of overpowers the other two. It is one of the best songs ever made. Just the riffs are really good, and then like just have these kind of like almost like symphonic kind of like orchestra bits. It just sounds really cool. Like, it's a 19-minute track, and it goes by so quick. You don't like, it doesn't feel like you're just sitting there listening to a 20-minute song. Like, it ends and you go, that's it? They're done? Oh wait, it's been 20 minutes. It's a mind-boggling track. But the other two kind of just like, they're really good, but it's like, after listening to that first song, it is so hard to go and listen to the other ones that are not quite as good, because it's like, oh, I want to listen to the other one again. Like, I just want to listen to that 3 times. But my other biggest issue is the vocals. I think the vocals on this demo just suck, kind of. Like, I'm just not into that kind of style. He's done better vocals before and after this came out, so. But again, like, I can see why a lot of people would say this is their number 1 and it deserves that spotlight. But it's not my favorite. I didn't write a number. What the fuck? We're approaching the top 3 now, and that brings us to 2020's Involved, which translates to The Forest, and it's the first studio album, which was decided after it came out. Winter came out and said, actually, everything I did before is a demo, which confuses a lot of people, myself included, but that's what he said, so that's what I'm going to go off of. But and this came out 7 years after Dastora. And this was my first Paysage D'Hiver experience. This is the first time I've heard of the band or project. But it like got me hooked like right away. Like, it just does such a good job of everything that's been built up to this point is just like done so well. It's cold, the riffs are great, the extra musical bits are great, the musical storytelling. You don't even have to understand the lyrics or read them or whatever to understand that this is a journey. You are deep in the cold and you are going somewhere. Like, that's the best way to kind of describe it. It feels like a journey, but not in like a epic quest vibe that I feel like a lot of kind of modern melodic black metal falls into. Like, it's still like a raw black metal album, but it's just executed so well. And the shorter ambient songs are nice, breath of fresh air, like I said kind of earlier with Kristall Isa. And it's just, I love this album. Like, I love this album. The top 3 are kind of, again, top 4 are kind of interchangeable. But I, like, when I'm listening to Involved, it's my favorite. It's 2 hours long, but it doesn't feel like a slog. Like, I was listening to it just the other day at work. And I, like, listened to the whole thing. I'm like, oh, is that it? Are we done? It's been 2 hours already? It's fantastic. Fantastic. Great. I think a lot of people didn't really like it. They say it's too clean and too whatever. I think it's a great introduction to what the band's about, or project's about. It's usually one of the ones I'll send to people when I'm recommending it. But it's one of my favorites. I love it. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. So 1 and 2 kind of go back and forth, like more so than the previous 2 I mentioned. Like, this one, definitely it depends on the day, or really which one I listened to most recently. But I think for right now, second place is going to have to go to Winterkaelte, which is the last demo we'll be talking about. Came out in 01, and simply just translates to winter cold, and oh my god, like, no kidding. This album is just like I need to put a coat on when I listen to it, or I'm gonna freeze to death. Like, it is probably, like, whether it's intentional or not, like, it is the most atmospheric and, like, truly cold album, or release rather, without, like, needing to force these elements on you, kind of like Kerker or Einsamkeit does. It's just the way the songs go, the way it's produced, just really sells this, like, cold, like, you are completely naked, caught in an avalanche cold. Like, it's relentless. I love it. Some of the wind sections do go on for a bit, which can really be said about everything this guy's ever put out, but I mean, like, again, it's really selling that kind of wintry, cold, in the mountains sort of vibe. But I really could probably talk about this forever, but I think you should just go listen to it. It kind of just really speaks for itself. Cold, by far the coldest thing I've ever heard, and I don't think anything's gonna top it in the near future. That's a 9.5 out of 10, folks. So coming in at the number 1 spot, the best release from the Paysage D'Hiver discography has to be Schnee, the, of course, compilation. It's the compilation released in 2020, and it just means snow. Nothing crazy. You're not in a dungeon. You're not at a gate in the forest. It is just snow, and it is outstanding. Like I said a couple times, Schnee is a compilation, so all this, there's Schnee 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they're compiled from, like, different splits and compilations and stuff, but he's taken them all and remastered them to coincide with each other and be a proper sit-down experience, and it just works so well. Like, a lot of the times, like, split compilations are, like, just that. Like, it's like, oh, a compilation. Like, oh, this is fun. Or, you know, it's like kind of bonus track material. These are, like, this is not that. This feel like, I could never have known that these were done at separate times or whatever, and I just would have thought this is one creative feller. But I think that's also its strongest part, or like its strongest attribute, is the fact that these songs came out like years apart, in some cases decades apart, and you get different aspects of, like, the kind of songwriting style and techniques and all these things that Winter was kind of learning and experimenting with, and you get all these sounds in one release, and it's just so cool to hear. It's like you're hearing kind of every sort of era almost of the project on one tape or on one record or whatever you want. It's just all the weird little experiments with vocals and, you know, other instruments and riffs, and it's just, they all work. Like, everything works. And it's like, I can remember more or less every bit of this, or probably because I've listened to it so many times, but I can remember every bit of this. it's so memorable. It's so good. It's just an epic piece of work. And I think the decision to, I don't even know if it was intentional or not, because it's not like they were renamed. Like every kind of thing is, every song was Schnee 1, Schnee 2, and then they were compiled into this. I don't know if it was intentional to compile them or join them together at some point, but whether it was or wasn't, it worked regardless, and I just think it's fantastic. This is by far my favorite in the discography. Well, not by far, but this is my favorite. Like, it's so good. So that concludes my ranking of the discography of Paysage D'Hiver. Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree with some of the picks? Are you going to get mad at me for not putting self-titled at number 1? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this kind of content or want to see more of it, let me know by liking and subscribing. I'd love to kind of make more videos and talk about stuff like this, so, you know, support would really kind of give me motivation to seek out making more of this kind of content. And what kind of other music topics should I cover in the future? Should I do more rankings, standalone reviews, or just kind of more random discussion? I'm into all kinds of genres, so I'm interested to see what people want to hear about. But let me know in the comments, and I'd love to read through your ideas. I'm Joseph Rowley, and thanks for watching, dorks.